Good evening, guys. Well, morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Hello, welcome. Game week 32, guys. Now, already there's a lot of people in the chat, so I can see it's going to pop off this evening. It's going to be a lot to get through. So we're going to go fast paced or as fast as we can. My team is pretty much the same as my team selection, so no changes. Unless we get Arsenal news, we're going to go through some details on what I plan to do once we get some news. But here we are. I think I'm pretty confident that this is how I'm going to line up. But as mentioned on the pinned comment, I am going to go through each of your team IDs. I just think it makes more sense rather than people asking what they want to do. So I'm going to start with you, Sportcat. I think you might still be in the chat. If you are, I've got your team ID so we can go through bits and pieces for you. And then just one by one, I'll go through all of your teams if that works. So bear with me. But I hope you're all having a fantastic evening, afternoon, day, wherever you are so far. And of course, good luck for the week. So let's have a look. So first of all, we're on, this is Sportcat's ID. So for you, sir, you've already proposed a Robertson transfer, I think, because you haven't got enough money in the bank to get to Trent, which I don't mind. I think this move is okay. Even longer term, it works out okay. It does mean, of course, you've only got 9 players. I'm very well, thank you, Sportcat. Thanks for asking. But I think in your scenario, you're going to captain either Martinelli or Saka. Now, based on the captaincy table I put together in my video, I think I would lean more towards Martinelli, although Saka is probably still on penalties after Arteta's comment. So I don't hate this. I think it's okay. You probably get a red arrow, maybe a minor one, but it's not too bad of a squad to see you through. Now, if you're going to hold the chip through to game week 34, I propose that in 33, you look at removing Kane for Isak. Now, could be Wilson as well. It depends. The only reason I've gone for that is because, well, essentially it frees up money, right, for you for later on. If you want to go for, say, Salah longer term, for example, anything like that. You don't have to do this. We've also got the double game week in 36 for you to look at. And then for 34, this is the free hit draft I put together for you. So I think I'd recommend probably coming back to the video because I'm going to go fast. I don't want to spend too much time on everybody's team because you're all here equally and I'll give you advice all the way through. So if you're free hitting in 34, this is the kind of team that I proposed. Could be some differences here, of course, but you've pretty much got 10 starting players here that are doubling in 34, and that's probably how I would play it for you. So not too bad of a squad. Let me know what your thoughts are, and then we're going to crack on. And I think Stu was next, if I'm not wrong. So I've got his ID ready to go. In fact, I did have it, but that's Sportcats, right? Okay, we're going to have to go back to the main page. Bear with me. I don't usually do this, by the way. It's just that I find it a little bit easier to navigate the transfers, to be honest, for people. What did you suggest that you were going to do? I can't remember what you said, Stu, to be honest. Can't remember what you said. Bear with me. Not sure. In the meantime, let me know what your thoughts are or what you're doing, because I can't remember if you're free hitting or not, bud. Right, Boo Boo, let's go. Let's have a look at you, sir. You had De Bruyne in your free hit draft as well as Haaland and Salah. Is that too many premiums? Not necessarily. It just depends. If you've downgraded too many players, then sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get through. But I think I like De Bruyne as well in that double. It's not too bad. Hi, Tanoki. Welcome to the stream, mate. Have a good night, mate. Thanks for dropping in and good luck for the week. Hopefully Jesus does not start. Well, I'd recommend if you can try staying awake, try and get some early team news in because Arsenal leaks are usually very secure. So that's why we're going to go through a couple of scenarios after I've done a few team reviews. We'll go through a couple of scenarios on what happens, I think, if Saka, Jesus are benched, as that potentially could be happening, right? George, do I think Robertson, Trent are essential? I think Trent is essential. I don't think Robertson is. I think that's why so many creators, and including myself, have said that the third Liverpool asset is kind of up for grabs, right? I feel like my personal choice at the moment is Gakpo, but that could definitely change. If Jesus gets benched, I'd probably go Jota and then I would remove Gakpo for someone else. So your free hit, you tweeted the team. Okay, fine. I'll have a look at Twitter in a second, then, and I'll have to rebuild the team, I guess. I don't necessarily have to do that, actually. We could probably just have a look at it on Twitter. I just don't know if I can see the bench because of the way I've set up my screen, to be honest. That's Sport Cats. This is yours. I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's interesting that you've chosen to go Castagna ahead of Alex Moreno, though. I do think that Moreno provides a lot of threat. I mean, you've obviously gone against, you've gone double up in Liverpool defence with Alisson, which I don't mind, but I just think I prefer a second Liverpool attacker. It's just about minutes, right? That's the problem. So maybe a little bit up for debate. Castagna against Wolves, I'm just not sure about. Defensively, they've just not been very good, have they? I know Wolves from an attacking point of view are not great, but I'm not sure about that pick. Solanke I like. Kane, I can understand it, absolutely. I think he's definitely got a goal in him. And to be honest, again, depending on the way that Arsenal line up tonight, that could change my plans of starting Trippier. So let's see how that pans out. I think Watkins is essential. Saka and Martinelli and Salah, definitely. Love the Eze pick. I think you're pretty much template. You've just gone for your third Liverpool asset as, of course, Alisson, which again, I don't mind. And of course, you've gone with Solanke over a fifth midfielder. So overall, I don't think it's too dissimilar to the template we've seen forming, right? There's just a few different sort of nuances, I guess, that you can do. You could just bench Solanke, you could remove Andreas to someone. That would probably mean downgrading Kane, though, right? But yeah, a couple of bits and pieces I think you could do with it, but I don't hate the team. It's all good, Stu. All good. How we doing, Junior Gaming? Welcome to the stream, mate. Luca, I'm very well, mate. Thank you. I know that I'm a little bit delayed on the chat, so apologies for that. But I do think a -4 is worth it for Trent. Solanke will be coming in for Tony if it is as well. I think that's great. I do like Solanke against West Ham at home. I don't think they're able to keep a clean sheet in this game, if I'm honest. I like Solanke's data. So yeah, I think that's well worth a -4. If that's no free hit and that gives you a very strong squad, then I definitely like that, Luca. That's a great pick, mate. So we're on. I think this is now. I just go back up. This is Boo Boo. So you've got Fernandes to Gakpo, Fernandes to Salah, and Haaland to Watkins. Also, no goalkeeper in both plans. Well, I mean, you just start Ward anyway, right? And hope that he starts rather than Everson, I guess. That's the situation you're in. So I guess you would go for Ben White. I'm not too sure who he would come in for, though, right? Like, you could you just do this? So you've got one free transfer. Rather than removing Haaland for Watkins, I'm not sure I like that play. I know you've got Kane versus Newcastle, but this gives you a starting 11 and you've got a backup of Botman. So I don't know if I like the -4, to be honest with you, Boo Boo. I'm not 100% sure. I like the Gakpo move. I think you can only do Salah, I guess, if you remove someone else, though, right? What if you removed Kane for Watkins and you did this as a -4? That gives you 0.5 in the bank. That could work for you. Good to see you, Seb. Welcome to the stream, mate. I'll have a look at your team ID very, very shortly. Luke Taylor, hi Dan. Thoughts on Jota differential in a free hit? Very, very positive thoughts about Jota, Luke, to be honest. I like him as a differential. It isn't confirmed yet, though, overall. Is it a fair transfer, Robertson, for Badiashile? I like it. I do like it. I think you haven't got the budget to go for Trent. Robertson could still provide some attacking returns. He's going to be more attacking than Virgil van Dijk overall, right? Just depends if you need to use the money elsewhere later on. That's my only concern. So maybe a bit more forward planning. Maybe check your free hit 34 as well and see if budget's tight. If it is, then maybe you need to... well, in fact, it doesn't matter, does it? Because you could take Robertson out for the free hit, I suppose. So yeah, I like the move. Wildcard 33, Boo Boo. Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure that you have to take the -4, but now I've realised that you can't get to Salah in one move from Bruno. I think this makes sense. If you take the -4, go for Mo. It would mean removing Kane, but like I've said, I'm not too sure. It's very difficult to predict on whether he's going to score or not, or Newcastle are going to concede it. I just think at St James's Park, though, I'm going to back Newcastle again. I made this mistake last week. Don't get me wrong. There were some people that wanted to double up on Newcastle, and I agreed to it. And of course, they went and conceded 3 goals to Villa. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure that it's going to be the same situation with Tottenham. I think they might be able to shut them out, if I'm honest. So I don't mind this. Junior Gaming, -8 Kane to Solanke and Odegaard to Salah, no free hit. I don't hate that move either, to be honest. Again, it involves removing Kane, so kind of similar justification to what I've just mentioned. Sportcat, what are my thoughts on the starting 11? De Gea, Trent, Robertson, Henry, Estepinian, Matoma, Salah, De Bruyne, Rashford, March and Haaland. Is that for... That's for 34, I assume, right? That's what you're looking at. You don't think anyone should invest in Chelsea for the rest of the season? We're awful and have incredibly tough fixtures. Indeed. Indeed. You certainly do. Right, let's put... I need to get Stu's ID into here again. But yeah, I think Booba, you've got a couple of options, mate. So hopefully that that helped you. Let's try and rebuild this team then. See what I can do. You haven't gone Trippier. Bruno's out. Salah's in. Salah's in already. Eze. Saka, Martinelli. Interesting that you went for the Kane pick, mate. I'm really, really curious why you decided to go for that in the end. Andreas. Moreno. I'm missing someone. Castagna. So here's how I would probably play it. I don't think I would play Castagna. I think I would go Alisson. I think I would go Solanke, yes. Andreas first bench, probably yes. Probably line up like that. Salah captain. Saka vice. So I think I'd probably line up like that for you. I don't think really there's much to change. Like I say, it's just for me. It's the Castagna versus Moreno. I'm not too sure on Castagna over him, but hopefully that helps you, Stu. Yes, for 34. Sorry, didn't make that clear. That's fine. I just assumed you did. I mean, it's a bit too early to say. This is why, you know, I put it together for you just to have a look at it. But I'm not 100% convinced that we can talk about it yet. Maybe in 33 onwards, we can have a look at it in more detail. George, no free hit. You can't afford Trent this week. So you've got Raya, Trippier, Moreno, Castagna, Gahey, Tarko, Gakpo, Saka, Martinelli, Watkins, captain, Kane. Interesting. I love the differential captain on George. I really do. On George. Captured yourself, mate. On Watkins. I really like that. Because obviously you can't go, you haven't got anyone else really, other than I suppose you could go Martinelli, Saka as well. But Watkins, like I mentioned in the team selection video, right? That captaincy data, 17 chances conceded by Brentford down the middle. I really like Watkins as a captain differential. Note your goalie. Patrick, you did give me your ID, didn't you? You keep your free hit for later. Okay. Key battles is Watkins versus Henry and Raya and Kane versus Trippier and Botman. Very true. I think a lot of people are going to... definitely the Kane versus Trippier thing. That's going to be in a lot of people's minds. So you've got 2 free transfers. So note your goalkeeper. Okay. So, I mean... The thing is with Raya, though, even though I'm talking about Watkins being a good captaincy shout and the chances conceded, Raya has the save opportunities. This is the difference. So even though I'm saying like someone like Rico Henry, for example, I don't think, you know, I wouldn't want him in my team this week because I do think Villa score. But Raya's save points give him sort of the benefit of the doubt, really, even though the clean sheet might get wiped out. So I don't mind Raya as a pick. So have you given me suggestions on what you're thinking? So you're just going to keep your free hit for later. Okay, so I know I said I don't back them, but at the end of the day, you're in a position where you've got quite a few playing players, right? You don't actually need to remove anybody. based on this scenario. I guess the thing is that you've got to consider that these players here on the bench now are doubling later on, especially with Brighton. So I don't think you sell these guys, if I'm honest. This is the situation that you probably, you're probably debating as well, right? I'm not sure that I feel like Ream is a positive pick. Same for Tarkovsky. You're in it's a tricky situation for you, to be honest, Patrick. Like, you've got yourself into a position where you've got 2 free transfers, but your team on paper is like, it's not actually too bad. Okay, so note the goalkeeper you've already changed to Johnston. So if you change Steele to Johnston, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. It's the value that's important, I suppose. You believe Chelsea will have a double game week coming up later on in the season? No point investing in Chelsea players. No, they will have a double game week. That's definite, but it's going to be later on. You're right. It's about 36 or 37. So 5 defenders, yeah. So that's kind of where you're at the moment, right? So if you've already made Johnston as a free transfer, like, you haven't really got that much flexibility in any other selection. So I'm not sure. I'm not convinced what you do here, Patrick. Really. Like, Andreas is, I actually like him as a pick, so I don't think you need to worry about it. If you're going to use your free hit later on, then you want to set yourself up for the future. Now, Andreas is also doubling later on, so you want to keep him. The only situation I think that you could do here is you could, if you don't back Spurs to do anything, then potentially you remove Kane for someone like Jesus, right? So if he starts, for example, and you think, okay, I want to try to sort of target at least some of the ownership in the free hitters. Jesus, by the way, is pretty much locked into, I think, most people's drafts, unless we get late news that he's benched. In which case, you've got mate captain for Salah, you probably vice captain Saka. It doesn't matter here, but Jesus might be the play, and then you free hit him 34. But even then, let's say you rolled the transfer into 34. You're in this position here, right, where you've just got an absolutely incredible double game week team. So I guess holding on to, so you're saying Kane is going nowhere, so that's interesting, but that's where I think I would go. The only other option is defensively, but I'm just not sure. Ederson in for game week 33, possibly. I would probably look at getting a City defender for the double for sure. Seb, let's have a look. I think we've pretty much covered your team though, which is why I've delayed it a little bit. So sorry about that, mate. But you're gonna have to remind me on your moves as well. You're gonna have to remind me on what you've done. Maybe I can find it on the comments actually. So Kane to Solanke, Rashi to Salah. That's what you're looking at, isn't it? Rashi to Salah, Kane to Solanke. No worries, Patrick. I hoped it helped, but like I say, I mean, you're in a position where you could probably roll that second free transfer, to be honest. But make some suggestions, fire away. Like, now I've looked at the team, I don't know. It's one of those situations where sometimes suggestions will help me navigate as well. But this would be your team, Seb. I don't think it's that bad. Yes, you've got 10 players. I don't necessarily feel like it's going to be a really negative week for you. You've got a bit of coverage in terms of free hitters. You've got the 3 key midfielders. Solanke and Watkins are also, I think, well, Watkins is definitely core for any free hit. Solanke and Haaland, obviously, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Solanke, I think, is a good pick regardless. You've got Trent in there as well. Yes, you've got Raya against Watkins, but like I mentioned earlier about save points, you haven't got Harry Kane versus Newcastle, so you'd hope for a double clean sheet there. I don't really rate the Castagna option, but he's a playing player for you. So the reality is, I think that you'll be able to get through this week not too scathed. I think you'll be okay. Like I said, though, I'd expect a minor red arrow. I don't think it's going to be green arrow territory for you, but it depends because it's slightly different across different ranks, right? Why are people getting Eze? Haven't they learned anything from the long name theory? Not at all. I've never learned at all, George. Never learned from such nonsense. Eze or Solanke to play? I think Eze for me. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at now. I've gone through a couple of teams, right? This is how I'm shaping up. So at the moment, this is where we're at. We're going to wait for some team news because hopefully we get some team news together. If we get some early, if we get some news early, here's the 3 scenarios that I can look at, right? Because I don't think Martinelli gets benched. So we're going to go down the road of if Saka's benched, I've got a plan of either going Saka to Bowen and Benrahma, and then I'll probably go Dawson to White. So at the moment, Dawson isn't playing, but this would mean that I wouldn't play Trippier. I would then have Ben White here. I would have Bowen or Benrahma in Saka's position, and then I would have, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, they're the 2 moves that I would do. If Jesus is benched, I think I'm going to take the chance on Jota because I don't like any other striker, to be honest. And I could play Solanke, but I think I'd want to take advantage of the triple Liverpool. And the way of doing that would be going to Jota and then moving Gakpo to either Bowen and Benrahma, and then also going Dawson to White. If both of them are benched, then it adds even another layer of complexity where Saka then goes to Bowen, Benrahma again, Gakpo goes to Son as a differential option, and Dawson goes to White. So I think these are the options once we get the Arsenal team news for me. I would suggest having a look at your own teams and just thinking about what to do in these scenarios, because there's going to be a lot of people that probably panic if we see last minute news that some of these scenarios have happened. I don't think it's likely, but there's a possibility, which is why I just drew this up quickly before I started streaming. But yeah, I do think Eze is the option above Solanke personally, which is why he's in my starting 11. Jedi Stew, careful taking Rashi out. He played last night. We need him for 33 and for 34. I would say that for Seb's point of view, though, he can always reverse that move for 34. He doesn't have to play him against Spurs. So ultimately, he can go into 33. So if we look at his team here, because he's taken Rashford out, he can go through this without too much of a problem. I think you'd probably do something like this. You'd double. Well, in fact, I don't know what you would do here. You'd probably choose Matoma over March, right? Because that's who's delivered for you. I don't know if you keep the Arsenal assets on, but ultimately you could roll the transfer here and you could bring Rashford back in 34. So yes, you're right about making sure that that you've got him covered, but I think people are okay to remove him just to get a playing player this week. Is 9 players okay for 32 and no free hit? I think you've got to ask yourself that question, really. I think ultimately I would say between 8 and 11 players is fine, but it's just don't anticipate a green arrow from those 9 players because they're probably not the optimal picks in comparison to people free hitting, right? But if you hold the chip, what happens is if you get a small red arrow, then you'll probably get the green arrow when you do free hit. That's the difference. George, I'll have you know this long name nonsense is tied with you on points now, somehow. I'll probably cry if Saka or Martinelli are benched. Well, this is the thing. If you're not free hitting, it's a real problem. It's a real headache. But just in terms of the free hit chip or anybody that's on it, like I say, these are the scenarios that I've kind of looked at. Do I think Rashford will start playing 90 minutes? Yes, I do, mate. I do. I think against Brighton, he might get 70 minutes. It depends because they're not going to want to risk him because, I mean, it's a very important game against Brighton. After the absolute shit show that we saw on Thursday, or yes, last night, I genuinely think that Brighton have got a very good chance of beating us, right? So it's a very tough game. Rashford probably, we don't want to hurt him, but we also need him. So I don't think he gets 90 minutes this weekend, but going into game week 34, because remember, this is still 2 weeks away, then yes. Well, it's a week away, essentially, a week and a half. Hiya, Harry. Welcome to the stream, mate. I'm very well, thank you. Really struggling with your team since you don't have a free hit. What's your suggestions? Might have to take a -12. Well, it depends, really, in terms of who you're bringing in. Don't necessarily be tempted by the template. I must admit this, like that. Just don't worry about it so much. If you haven't got the chip or you've used it already. Okay, so you don't have a free hit, you've said. Just try and navigate through to the best, let's say, double game week 34 team that you can, because that's where you might make up some more ground. So don't stress too much about having 11 players with a -12. So do I like your move, Seb, or do you think I could make any different moves? I think both of those moves are okay. I think if we go back to 32, We've already done. I don't think you get rid of Haaland, and I don't think you get rid of the Brighton assets because they double later on 3 times, essentially. It's very difficult to justify removing the Brighton boys. You've also got 2 very good City assets. Stones is maybe questionable, but again, he doubles later on. So it's very difficult to really suggest anybody else. You could potentially go someone like, if you don't back the Spurs, the Newcastle double clean sheet, you could even look at maybe moving Botman on to someone else. But again, I'm not convinced. Like if you went Botman, let's say for, I don't know, you haven't got a third Arsenal attacker. You went Arsenal. You've removed a double game weeker in 36 because Newcastle have now got that confirmed. So again, longer term, you hurt yourself because in 36, as you can see, Trippier double game week, whereas White doesn't have it. So I don't feel like there's any other moves that you can make, especially not worthy of another -4. You're already taking a -4 to get these players. So, to be honest with you, Seb, that's my thoughts for you, mate. I think you're okay. You don't think United defence is any consideration now that you think of it? Well, here's the thing, right? We lost 3-0 to Sevilla, and the situation is our defence is absolutely destroyed in terms of injuries. We need Varane, we need Martinez. That much is clear. Martinez is out for the season. Luke Shaw might end up playing left centre-back, but even then, he picked up a little bit of a knock towards the end of that match. You know, we have Malacia then starting at left back. Potentially, you know, the combination of Maguire and Luke Shaw might work out. But, you know, we've seen how calamity Maguire has dealt with the step up he's had to make. So I don't think we're to trust at all defensively. So I completely agree there. I just don't know who to suggest for 34 otherwise. Ederson's probably the obvious pick, right? In terms of a defender. But it depends on what your City assets you were looking at. So I think you had Haaland, De Bruyne, and somebody else, right? But again, that's 34. We're looking at 32 at the moment. Right, we've got half an hour until the deadline, guys. So, sorry that was a bit chaotic. I've not really done that before, where I've asked for people's IDs in advance and then had to go through everybody's manually. Normally, I do a combination of both, or the odd few people give me your IDs. But yeah, sorry it was a bit chaotic, but hopefully that helped the people that had a little review there. For the last half an hour, I guess it's just quick fire questions, guys. Just literally just fire them at me. We'll try and get some team news around probably 1:15. I'm going to have a look at Twitter and see what I can find. Hi, Abdullah. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Good to see you, mate. One more thing. Do I think Solanke is the best forward? You have 6.3 million. It's not necessarily about the best forward for you, though, is it? Because you've got a situation where we go back. Okay, so you've got a situation where you want Mo Salah, right? That's the thing. So that 6.3 million, who is there? Is this my table for forwards? This is my table for forwards. So Solanke at 5.5. This is expected goal involvement over the last 4 matches. His expected goals non-penalty are 3.24. The stats for his price point are absolutely insane. There's nobody else, really. Right? You're not going to go for a Southampton player against Arsenal. Wilson, does he start against Spurs or is it Isak? Like between them, you can't even afford Isak. In fact, you can't afford Wilson either. You've got 6.3. So when you look at your budget, the 5.5, that's it. That just fits the bill perfectly for you. There is literally nobody else, I don't think, in that price bracket that works. Great to see another stream. Your team is quite template, playing the free hit. I think a lot of people are on almost that same team. There's just, you're going to have to try to eke out a small advantage here and there. But I don't mind the template. Like, at the end of the day, on Twitter, it seems like we're all in this one bubble and we're all doing the same thing, or on YouTube, we're all doing the same thing. But in the grand scheme of things, across the whole player base, we are just a drop in the ocean. So the free hit might feel really template, but we'll still be able to gain ground on other managers. Juni Gaming, what's the minimum amount of doublers I would consider for Game Week 34? I think probably for most people's teams, 8 would be probably a minimum, I would say, based on people owning Brighton assets, City assets, Manchester United assets. I think a combination of those type of things, I think would say that 8 probably sounds about right as a minimum. I'm probably going to be looking at a -4 or a -8 in 34, though. No Xhaka, they're saying. Okay, interesting, SK. But no news on anybody else? I haven't seen any details yet, but like I said, I'm going to check that out in about 10 minutes to see if I can find any information. But that might be an interesting point based on from a defensive point of view, because Xhaka does make up for Partey's mistakes sometimes. So, Abdullah, your team is Johnston, Alex Moreno, TAA, Castagna, Gakpo, Salah, Martinelli, Saka, Watkins, Solanke, Jesus. Nice. I would say it's not actually fully template because you've gone with... Okay, so you've got Maddison, Trippier, Anderson and Everson on the bench. Interesting that you've decided to go for Castagna ahead of Trippier. Jorginho on pens, you reckon? Well, I mean, Arteta's come out in the press conference and said that he would come on the pitch personally and throw the ball at Saka. So I think he's going to... It's too much of a confidence dip, mate. I do understand it. Like, guy misses penalty. The manager needs to make sure he gets results, especially when they're this close to winning the Premier League. He should move said player to somebody else. But think about what that would do to Saka's confidence. Like, I just don't agree with this principle that he's missed a penalty, he needs to be off them. Like, that's just not the case at all. Think about all the penalties he has scored. Think about the games that he has won. It's not just about the penalty miss, so I'm not sure I agree with Jorginho on pens. But I'll be interested to know if there's any sort of source to back that up, then please share it with me, SK, because I'll be well interested in that. Just because I've got the vice-captain on Saka based on that, but I feel like Martinelli would probably be better. So Kane to Solanke and Rashi to Salah done. I think they were the good moves, Seb, to be honest. Anyone with Martinelli captain? I've not seen it, but I do think that I mentioned that to Sportcat because he hasn't got any Salah. You've also got Castagna. Dan doesn't like him. I'm just not sure. It's not necessarily I don't like him. It's just that I don't trust Leicester. I do not trust Leicester against Wolves. I know they're fighting for their lives, but I just don't trust them. You got gut feeling that Moreno will keep clean sheet and get an assist. I agree. I feel like he's going to be up there with the attacking returns this week. Kane long term or Watkins long term? I'm actually looking at selling both of them, mate. Within the next 4 weeks, I'm probably going to sell both. I'm going to sell both of them. Kane probably becomes Salah for me in 2 moves. Watkins probably becomes Isak for me because of the double game week. But we'll see. We'll see how that evolves, because even with the tough fixtures that Villa have got at the back end of the season, I might just keep him based on form. SK didn't know that. Good info. Yeah, he literally, I think the quotation was, I will walk onto the pitch and throw the ball at him. When asked, essentially, are you going to take the penalty? Is Saka going to remain on penalties? Lazio, Eze and Robbo, VVD, or Gakpo, Castagna. Currently preferring the second option. I think I do prefer the Gakpo Castagna combination, but have you got anybody else that you would play ahead of Castagna to make that even better? Welcome to the stream, Amit. Late for the stream. Gakpo or Robbo on free hit, and thoughts on Son. I like Son as a differential. We can talk about my opinions on that in just a moment, but Gakpo or Robbo, I don't think it's as simple as that, Amit. So I mentioned in my team selection video, it's not really Gakpo and versus Robertson alone. You've got to look at what Lazio has just mentioned. It's the combination of the midfielder and the defender. So let's say, for example, it's not Gakpo versus Robbo, it's Gakpo and Castagna, like Lazio said, or Robertson and Eze. Like, you have to look at the combination as opposed to the individual. Saka is on penalties. Arteta said it in his press. You heard it yourself, yeah. Dan, why is your rank not improving? Still on 62k. I was 64k last week. So 2,000 places, mate. Don't take them away from me. Leicester going to win 27-0. Castagna scoring a hat-trick with his earlobe. Love it. Love it. Love to see it. Never back the early kickoff. No, that's true. That's true. But then technically this is not an early kickoff because it's not 12:30 on Saturday. I think we've had this debate on the stream before where Friday night streams, do we consider them, is the Gandhi prophecy true for the Friday night kickoffs? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You probably captain Salah and he misses a penalty and Nottingham win 4-0. I mean, if we get into that territory, I'm done. Trent goal, mate. If that happened, I'm done with this game. Potential Newcastle clean sheet against Spurs. I think so. I'm gonna back Trippier. The only scenario I don't back Trippier is now I can get onto the Son situation. The only time I don't back Trippier is if one of these scenarios happens. So if Saka does get benched, Saka becomes Bowen or Benrahma for me, with Dawson becoming Ben White. So I've still got my triple up on Arsenal. I would then play Ben White ahead of Trippier because I think the clean sheet odds are up there. I would then put Trippier first bench. If Jesus benched, I would go Jesus to Jota, Gakpo to Bowen and Benrahma. So I've got a triple up of Liverpool, but I'm changing to a striker as I don't really like any other option other than Solanke. This is just kind of almost a price point thing. And then Dawson also becomes White because I've freed up the third Arsenal slot. If Saka and Jesus are both benched, this is where Son comes into the mix for me, where I do like him as a differential pick because I think some people are holding on to Kane, thinking that he's going to be involved in the goals, but what if Son goes and gets a brace? Something that some people haven't been talking about or haven't considered. So this is where, if both of them are, this is when I fit Son in. If none of that happens, I probably don't fit Son in at all. So there's my thoughts on him. Who to play as the third defender? Guehi, Moreno and Castagna. I just think Moreno. I honestly think that Moreno is going to be the winner. I think Villa have conceded 1 goal in the last 4 games, guys. Like they're just. I know Brentford are a different beast at home. They thrive on big chances though, and I feel like Villa can shut them out. We're all talking about Salah, but in my opinion, Gakpo is a better choice than Salah. I mean, better captain, yeah. I mean, I didn't actually pull up his statistics in comparison to others. Maybe I should have done that in the captaincy data table. Gandhi definitely is the type of guy to take hits every week. Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal. I don't really watch tennis that much. If I had to pick, I'd probably say I prefer Federer. Armin Haya, welcome to the stream, mate. Sorry you haven't been joining the streams lately. Really want to, but you've been busy. Listen, no need to apologise, mate. You join whenever you can. At the end of the day, life happens. Sometimes I can't stream, right, because of life. Sometimes I have to rearrange my streams because of life. Likewise, you can't always watch them, mate. So I appreciate your time as always. Big differentials, you like Sarabia, Creswell, Danuma and Gray. Interesting. I mean, we can probably have a look at some of them, right? So in terms of midfielders, expected goal involvement. But let's see if we can find Gray. So Damari Gray, expected goal involvement is 1 over the past 4 matches. He's got some reasonable numbers. 0.45 XG, 0.52 expected assists. Not too bad. Danuma. Really massive differential there. Only 0.23 XG. That finish was great though. 0.27 overall expected goal involvement. Creswell. No Creswell because I'm on the midfielders. Sarabia. 1.17 XGI, not too bad. He's not all the way down the bottom, but he's not too bad here. 1.17, 1.0 XG. Captain in Tarkovsky this week, Dan. What? Because of name? Because of the length of the name. Let's have a look at Creswell's stats as well. Maybe one day I'll get affiliated with Fantasy Football Scout and I'll recommend people to come here. But it honestly is my favourite site for sure. Creswell. Like, all of them have really good tools, but it's definitely my favourite one. I'm not sure about Creswell. Like expected goal involvement 0.36, not too bad. But then does he get the 90 minutes? Does he start? The Bournemouth score against them? Possibly. Not sure. There's a lot of differentials. There's plenty of differentials out there though. Not numbers based, just Phil with Gray can nick a penalty and another goal contribution. Easily could be done. Does anyone have an idea of how many free hits have been played this game week? I'm not sure if we can get the data until the deadline is finished. I'm not sure, but I think a lot of people in the community of active managers are definitely doing it. Seth Smoker, is Jesus benched? I don't know, mate. I haven't looked yet. 6:10. Let's have a look on Twitter. Let's see what we can find. No. There's a lot of people that have got a few little differences. Madders is definitely in there. Look, Maddison in plenty of drafts. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for different stuff on Arsenal because I'm not sure about Jesus being benched yet. Unigaming at Abdullah, majority people are. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Captain Poldan, please put Salah top. I can only see first two options on my stupid phone. Okay. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Start a poll. Game week 32 captain. Can't remember how many options I gave. Let's do Salah at the top though. Let's do Martinelli. Let's do Watkins. Let's do... Don't think... Is Kane an option? Other. Let's just do other. It's the only thing with polls though. I need to try and work out how I can get this away. So maybe... No, because I can't hide... No. I'm going to need to figure out how to sort the chat out with that situation. Let's have a look. 79% free hits active that you've seen. Interesting. That's a huge number. Huge number that is. Yeah, it just makes the most sense. Toss up between him and Martinelli. While Martinelli has more letters, the two I's and I make it... The two L's and I make it shorter. Solanke brace coming. Heard anything on Salah being on pens still? I haven't heard anything on Salah being on penalties, but I'm going to say he more than likely is. Who else is going to take them? If he's on the pitch, it's going to happen. Again, I just don't think the managers would do that to their players' confidences. I'm just not sure about that. 79% of managers have activated, considering there's 5 mil inactive managers. That's surprising. Overall, mate, why would you say Martinelli better than Saka as captain? I think that I would. Based on form, Martinelli's definitely up there. But the thing is with Arsenal midfielders is that they can share the points amongst themselves. It's really difficult to know which one is going to smash, right? Just click on poll, it will disappear. Well, here's the thing. What if I click on it? So if I just put it... But then this is the thing. Now I've fluffed it. Because OBS, basically, my OBS, the chat window on the stream, I basically use a doc. I use a chat doc. So by me voting, it's asking me to sign in. And I don't think I can vote on my own poll. But anyway, it's fine. I can go onto another screen and look at the chat there. You think Salah is still on penalties? Yeah, I think Fabinho best taker in the world, arguably, possibly. But again, would you say that Klopp is going to, like I say, similar position to any manager? If you were a manager, someone misses one penalty, are you going to instantly take them away from that individual and say, sorry, mate, you're not having them anymore? I'm just not sure. Click on logo. Not sure, bud. I'm obviously rubbish at this stuff. Amit, rate my team. Johnston, Castagna, Trips, Trent, Son, Martinelli, Saka, Salah, Gakpo, Jesus, Watkins. Or Everson, Robbo, Trips, Trent, Son, Martinelli, Saka, Salah, Watkins, Jesus, Solanke. Please suggest me team 1 or 2. I think, can you not play team 2, but you don't play Everson? Can you just play Johnston instead? So Johnston, Robbo, Trips, Trent, Son, Martinelli, Saka, Salah, Watkins, Jesus, Solanke. I think I like that, Amit. Sorry, you did miss 2. You're right. And they weren't even on target, yes. But even then, I'm still not convinced that he'd take them off of him. Who knows? Who knows? Arteta giving penalty to Gunnosaurus. Good shout, Tanoki. Right, let's get that off the screen now. Like I said, I need to figure out what to do with OBS on getting the chat, because like I say, look, I can scroll on it because it's the docked screen within OBS itself that I've snapped or that I use. Anyway, I'm not an expert at this stuff. I only started YouTube in a year ago almost. Good shout to Noki. Nice long name there, definitely. Any team news in advance? I'm going to keep checking, Siam. I'm hoping that that Team News and Ticks on Instagram gives us something. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. The panic may begin. Thanks for everybody tuning in, by the way. Really appreciate it. 17 viewers at the moment, probably the highest I've had for a while. But I did think that it was going to be the case. I did think it was going to be the case. This is a big week, right, for a lot of people. Nothing from Team News and Ticks yet. Who knows? Are we going to get anything? You really like Trippier, Castagna and Trent because even if they don't get a clean sheet, you think they could easily get an attacking return. Yeah, Castagna maybe from an attacking point of view. Maybe I'm underestimating him from the XGI. What position would Gunnosaurus be in FPL? And when Trent played CM, he seemed like a different player. Very true. That's why I think he's essential on a free hit, if I'm honest. Falling short by 0.1, missed Solanke rise. Subs, Toti Bueno, Murphy. I suppose that doesn't... You're just trying to go for the cheapest substitutes possible, right? Where do you get the 0.1 from, though, I guess? Or, oh, you mean you're falling short by 0.1 for Johnston? Is that why you're playing Everson? That could be why, and that does make sense, I guess. Team News Kane isn't playing tonight. Very true. He's not. Breaking news from George. You really am not considering City defence. They win games, but they concede the odd goal per game. Yeah, but I think in a double game week, I'd go for them. Definitely over United at the moment anyway. That's for sure. That is for sure. Let's see if we've got any news. Yes, that's right, playing Everson. Okay, well, I don't think that's horrendous. The 0.1 being missing is not a major issue. Doing your bit to help the community out. In such a high pressure week as well for many, right? Where are we? 10 minutes from the deadline, guys. I am really, really hoping that we get some Arsenal news, to be honest, because I feel like it's gonna flip everything that we do. Okay, yeah. So no Xhaka looks like it's the only news, to be honest. From what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, it just looks like there's no Granit Xhaka. But everybody else looks like they're fit and ready to go. So I don't think there's going to be much tinkering here, to be honest, guys. I think it's going to be a pretty boring. This is what the team is. I was really hoping for some last minute. I don't know, some last minute tinkering, to be honest. But here we are. Here we are. Team news: Salah is not in the Arsenal squad. Not all heroes wear capes. That's why I didn't get him this week, Seb. According to Let's Talk FPL, Zinchenko is back, so people who have Tierney should remove him. Well, I mean, is Tierney really been on people's radar? Last 30-second news league. Leak 30-second news league. Last 30-second news leak. Not sure where leak needs to go there. There's a couple of L words. Completely throwing me off. Jack, hello mate. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Which combo looks better? White, Kane, Gakpo, Gahey, or Trippier, Jesus, Eze, Robertson? White, Kane, Gakpo, Gahey, Trippier, Jesus, Eze, Robertson. Oh, that's really close, but I'm going to go with option 2. Trippier, Jesus, Eze, Robertson, I think. Jesus might come off at half-time. He might do. But, again, in my team selection video, I've mentioned about how it doesn't matter, in my opinion, if he only plays 60 minutes. There's still going to be attacking returns in this game tonight, I think, for Jesus. Breaking Haaland not in Arsenal squad, could still score against both sides. Haaland to Nketiah if Jesus is benched. Breaking news, Roy Hodgson will be on the Palace bench on Saturday. I'm glad we can have such jest on this channel. We don't take it too seriously. That's what we like. That's what we like. But yeah, by the looks of it, guys, it doesn't look like there's any late team news at all. I don't think there's any late team news whatsoever. There's definitely a lot of guesswork happening at the moment from what I'm listening to and like what I can see on Twitter on my phone. I don't think there's anything concrete that we can go on. Dan picks his nose, yeah. I hope Arsenal lose today. Of course you're going to say that. Of course. But I don't see that happening. I don't think anybody sees that happening, which is why people are tripling up on Arsenal and Liverpool, no? Yeah, definitely. I think Zinchenko is looking like he's fit to play. I think whichever source it's coming from for Let's Talk FPL, I would say it's probably legitimate. But again, I don't think people are looking at him or Tierney, right, in terms of drafts. If you are, then fine. But that's good news for the people that aren't on free hit that brought him in, to be honest. Is Martinelli good if you don't have Salah? Do you mean a good captain? I would say he's probably second choice if you don't have Salah, for me. I know I've got the vice on Saka, but I really don't feel like that's going to come into play. But Martinelli's numbers have just been better, right? They've been more consistent. Saka, Odegaard, Trossard, Martinelli and Jesus all benched. Imagine that. Miracles can happen. James Ward-Prowse can score a hat-trick. He might score against Arsenal. I could definitely see that happening. A wonder free kick. Imagine if Southampton nick a 1-0. I mean, if they nick a 1-0, then I think at this point we would be able to say it's going to be City that are close to winning the treble. By the way, for those that watch the stream really, really early on, or the channel really early on, what did I tell you about City? I said with Haaland in the team, they were possibly going to win the treble this season. I didn't put a bet on it. Some of you said they won't win the treble, but now it's a very real situation. I honestly felt like Haaland was the missing piece for them to do the treble, but we'll see. Which sauce? Ketchup sauce. All 11 players score a hat-trick of bicycle kicks. Dan, how was your last night after getting beaten by Sevilla? Mate, let's not even talk about it. Let's not even talk about it. They are still unbeaten against us. It's just shameful. That performance was woeful. Madness. Absolutely madness. 3 minutes till deadline, guys. I think, are we locked in? Are we locked in? I mean, I honestly don't think there's anything else I change here. I guess the final decision for me would only be here, Gakpo. It's the only one that I'm like, I'm not sure about his expected minutes. Everybody else I feel like I'm really comfortable with, but I don't think I'm going to make any last minute changes, guys. I'm very, very comfortable. Good luck to you, Boo Boo, too, my friend. Good luck. The missing piece is Pep not removing all the defensive mids during the finals to choke it. Very true. Very true. Maguire and De Gea was staring at each other. Yeah, I mean, look, we can go into the details of who fucked up, but honestly, it was horrendous. Check that you activated the free hit. There is always that one guy. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you didn't hit it and you took a minus like 26 or something? I don't even know if that's possible as a numerical thing for minus fours. It'd be minus 24, wouldn't it? Could either end this week at 50k or 150k. Well, let's hope it's the prior. Let's hope it's the 50k for you. Jedi Boo Boo, cheers, mate. Good luck to you and the rest too. Absolutely. Are we locked? 1828 though, isn't it? Can't be locked yet. No, we're not quite locked. Just make sure that little button there, free hit active, make sure it's pushed. Otherwise, you will be charged for your transfers. Just remember. It's a good bit of advice from Tanoki, that. Tanoki, why are you still awake anyway, bud? Were you hoping for some news? I mean, I really do appreciate the dedication. Usually don't see you on Friday night streams. Sportcat, Saka or Martinelli is so hard. Mate, you've got a coin flip for the last minute, and I haven't got a coin on me to help you, I'm afraid. It's got to be one of them, though. Good luck to you, Seb, as well. 840k, you're hoping for a 200k grand rise. So a 200 grand, because the K stands for grand. Arsenal team news. No, there's no Arsenal team news, unfortunately. But I think what's happening is most people are saying that it's as is. So there's no strange expectations, no nuances that are coming out of this. I don't know where I've got this word from, but I keep saying it recently. Nuance. Maybe it's from maybe I picked it up from work. We love a meeting in my job. Meetings all the time. Right, let's tweet out the team. Tweet out the team. Give me a sec. Free hit active. Game week 32. Boom. Salah captain. Salah. My overall rank is 62k. You don't care about funds. Boom. Locked in, boys. We are locked in. That's it. Well done. Well done. The free hit pain is completed. I always like it when you use chips and you can just get it over the line. Do you know what I mean? It's really sometimes just that little bit extra stress that you don't want. You went Martinelli, Sportcat. Good luck, sir. Good luck. Xhaka to Philip Billing it is. What a transfer. George, we are locked. We certainly are. Xhaka is not starting. That is the only change. Yep, looks like it. I know a similar word to that. Nonce. FPL Boo Boo locked. Yes, we are, sir. Yes, we are. Pin this tweet to my profile. For some reason, I want people to know how template I've gone. Let's see how we get on. Thanks very much for watching. We're going to stick around until 7 because I do want to wait for the official team news. So we can stick around. We can talk about different things. I'll leave the team on the screen, but we can talk about whatever you like. It can be FPL related. It can be just football in general. Whatever you want to talk about, let's go. Did I see that Chelsea have ended discussions with Nagelsmann? Do you mean ended them and it's not going to go any further? Only chip you don't like is the yellow Dorito chip of death. Yeah, indeed. The red one's worse, though. Last minute subbed in Pinnock for Trent. Imagine the pain. Eze is quite a differential in your team. I think he is. I mean, I think both Eze and Moreno are probably a little bit different to the template overall. That's why I sort of said that in my tweet. But let's see. Let's see how it works out. I really do think that Moreno could do something against Brentford. Let's talk about stamps. Ugh. Can't think of anything worse. When I said anything, I mean within reason. Does anyone know what it means by in order to cancel something, you have to admit something? That's what Nagelsmann said to Sky Germany. In order to cancel something, you have to admit to something. I guess he's saying that he's not actually begun the conversations with Chelsea. Maybe that's what he's trying to get at. I don't know. Siam, you've gone for Solanke instead of Maddison in your starting lineup. It's the like I said, mate, I really hope you get on the right side of the fence with that. I always support the data when it's close. Jedi Stu, Dan, check your Twitter. You've still got some old BB team pinned to the top. Quite confusing. Yeah, I've pinned the new one, mate. Pinned the new one. Thanks for highlighting. I hadn't tweeted out, I don't think, my Game Week 30 or Game Week 31 teams because I did, I think, a late stream on Game Week, an early stream on Game Week 31, didn't I? I can't remember the reasons, but anyway, I wasn't at my computer and I don't like doing the mobile versions of screenshots. Silly excuse, I know, but just, it's, you know, I've got 2 young kids and stuff as well, so sometimes it's not easy to do, but they're sleeping at the moment, so I'm all right to stay on for a bit longer. Tanoki, I know a similar word to Pinnock. Pillock, indeed. Pochettino, leading candidate to be next Chelsea manager. Wow. Can you believe it? Fine, let's talk about lawnmowers. I actually need to cut my grass, to be honest. I don't mind it. It's one of those chores that I actually don't mind. In terms of all the things I can do, whether it's like washing up, hoovering, whatever, washing clothes, like all the different things that you just have to do as part of life. I don't mind cutting grass. I'm a bit OCD with it, though. That's the only problem. And I've got a dog, so I have to pick up all her shit first, which is a bit of a frustration. But there you go. What's my favourite player ever? Who's my favourite player ever? It's a good question. I think one of my favourite players ever has got to be Paul Scholes. Now, that might surprise some people because I don't think he's really highlighted as I don't know, maybe one of the absolute GOATs. The obvious picks are like obviously Messi, you know, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, all the different Ronaldos, right? But when I first started supporting Man United, I used to play as a number 8 when I played 11-a-side. And I just used to watch what he did. And he could ping a pass so well. I think second to him, I'd probably say they're all Manchester United players, really, to be honest. There's so many soft spots. I've got, you know, David Beckham, Wayne Rooney as well. Obviously, Eric Cantona, historic one. Ronaldo. So many. There's so many good players for United that have been in existence. There's also a small double in Game Week 36 for Newcastle and Brighton. There certainly is, sir. There certainly is. Nagelsmann never wanted the job in the first place. I mean, I'm not being funny. It doesn't really surprise me. Like Chelsea, all you've done is you've gone on a shopping spree in January, right? You'll cut my grass. Thanks. Ronaldinho comes to mind. Yeah, I think definitely one of the sort of obvious choices, right? But in terms of just watching football regularly, I used to always keep my eye on Paul Scholes. I used to just love watching how he could ping a ball from left to right. What's your advice for exams? You've got your GCSEs in a month and you've not prepared. I guess the best advice is to try and see, me personally, when I'm concentrating, when I make content, I like listening to music. So I think the best thing to do when you're looking at revision and you're looking at prep for any type of exam is put yourself into, I don't know, a mindset where you don't feel forced to do what you're doing. So, I mean, I enjoy creating content, so maybe it's not exactly the same, but I feel like it distracts me a little bit or puts me into a good working flow. That's my personal advice. I even do that at work. Like literally when I'm creating spreadsheets or when I'm doing some analysis for different parts of my job, there's all sorts of times to do it, but I like listening to music personally. CR7 is the greatest of all time. He's definitely up there, mate. Celebrations tier list chocolates. I mean, what is in a Celebrations box? I don't even know what's in a Celebrations. Snickers, Mars, Twix. Let's have a look at the actual picture itself. Can we zoom into that bad boy? Yes, we can. Celebrations tier list, right? I'm gonna have to go with the Maltesers is number one for me. Galaxy Caramel comes in hot at number two, with Galaxy close third. I'm gonna go a bit controversial here. I'm gonna go Twix, then Snickers, then Mars, then Milky Way, then Bounty. I think that's the order for me personally. But hit me with it, George. Hit me with your Celebrations tier list. I think that's the go-to for me. The Maltesers in my family go so fucking quickly, by the way. They are the ones. Everybody leaves the Bounties, we know that. Everybody leaves them. They've got to be one of the worst. Shall you tell me why you support Chelsea? Because they were top of the league when you got into football when you was a 7-year-old in 2015. But then that's just the situation, right? Everybody watches when you start watching football. It's the team that are playing the best football 9 times out of 10. If not, it's the team that you went to see in person. That's what a lot of people support teams for. Maguire, definitely not in the GOAT category at all. You didn't tell me, but you're a Newcastle fan on loan to the end of the season. Never heard that piece of advice. You'll listen. Just, I mean, yeah, like I said, music for me is definitely my kind of go-to. To just when I want to chill or focus, it's definitely the go-to. But in all seriousness, he has to go for the sake of his own career. I agree. I think we'll probably sell him in the summer. Let's talk about Maguire and De Gea performances yesterday. Oh my God. Just, you guys just kill me. I don't want to talk about it. Just don't want to. It's just too painful. I actually think that if we're in for David Raya comes in for me as the starting 11 from next season. Let's sell Maguire. Let's just get a different backup centre back. Like I don't mind Lindelof. Lindelof can stay. I even like Eric Bailly, right? I don't think we give him a justified chance, if I'm honest, but who knows? Is Gordon Strachan person before your time? He came from Jockland with Sir Alex, completely transformed the team. So I was very, very young, I think, when he came in. So let's have a look. When did Gordon? He retired at 1997. So I was born in 89. No, yeah, no. He was so yeah. Spent the next 7 seasons as club captain at Leeds. Yeah, so it was a couple of years before I was born, basically. So yeah, before my time, mate. Before my time, just slightly. Good list, to be fair. Maltesers is your favourite as well. Got to be done, mate. Normal Galaxy and then Galaxy Caramel. So we've got them the other way round. Twix, Mars, Milky Way, Snickers, Bounty. Mate, we're like almost exact. We've just got the Galaxies the other way around. Twix is number 4 for me as well. Did I say Snickers, Mars, Milky Way? I think as well. Slight differences, but top list, mate. Top list. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Any other tier lists? It's just staggering how tremendously awful we are. Honestly, your favourite packaged chocolate is Reese's. See, it's funny how everybody's suggesting everything but Ferrero products, and I work for Ferrero. But I suppose it depends. Do you know which brands Ferrero own? Because not a lot of people know that we own several brands. It's not just Ferrero Rocher. You're the prick that has a soft spot for a club that you started in Football Manager only because they were 6th to 8th and hence they were a perfect team to start with. Honestly, Phil Jones over Maguire. I actually agree with that. Plus the meme faces, right? Like I used to love the fact that you could just screenshot any moment of his defending career and it'd just be absolutely amazing. Adding pain to uni fans was Alex Tellez, United fans, sorry, was Alex Tellez who was playing for Sevilla and mocking Luke Shaw. Yeah, it's painful, but really Glazers have destroyed Man United in your opinion. I mean, it's just been a slow burning process. They've just taken money out of the club and just put them into debt. You got to remember before the Glazers came in, by the way, we were a debt-free club. So yeah, they've not done us any favours. You don't like nuts, so they've got to be low. Twix number 1 for you, Abdullah. I do like Twix as well. I said it was controversial that was number 4, but I think that was just ahead of things, popular chocolates like Snickers or even Milky Way. Like some people might have preferred that to Twix. Whisper is by far the best chocolate. I must admit, I do like a Whisper Gold. Whisper Gold is nice. The caramel inside is really good. I think my favourite chocolate, and bearing in mind I work for a chocolate company here, is definitely Lindt. They are the master chocolatiers after all, but just I think Lindt chocolates are just the winners. Every Christmas, me and my wife basically buy, like when they're on offer, like the wrapped up these ones. Let's is it Lindor? I don't know if yes, these ones, mate. Hands down, these chocolates are the winner. Like I said, I work for a chocolate company. I shouldn't really be saying this. Bad boys, these are absolute bad boy chocolate. Absolute bad boy. You would say Rocher is probably the nicest chocolate containing nuts, but even then you still don't like it. Yeah, hazelnut is in a lot of our products. It is in a lot of our products. Love Lindt, lovers chocolate. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because the thing is, we own Thornton's as well. Thornton's is probably more of a UK brand as opposed to worldwide. But we we basically created something called Pearls, and they're like these. I mean, if you're from the UK, you probably would have seen them. But we've basically made these chocolate balls, right, with essentially with filling inside them. So you've got brownie, you've got salted caramel, and all those types of things. But they're just not the same, right? Like it looks great in the picture, but Lindt are the ones, mate. Lindt are the ones. So yeah. These were meant to change the chocolate world, mate. They would literally we're going to take over the chocolate world, but didn't happen. Fellow members, discussions on UK chocolates, beers, etc. have no interest to your worldwide audience. None of what you've mentioned available here. Interesting. Interesting. So it's interesting that I mean, I'm not sure if our supply chain goes as far as you guys. I'm not sure if it does. Thornton's is good. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. That doesn't exist here. Yeah, I didn't think it did. I thought Thornton's was pretty much just kind of UK. Maybe we're in Europe a little bit, but yeah, here's some trivia for you, I suppose, for any quizzes. Is that Ferrero actually own Tic Tac? We make Tic Tacs. We own Kinder. We own Nutella. We've also bought out some kind of some healthy chocolates, if you like, or healthy bars recently. We own Eat Natural. We own Fulfill. There's some new ice creams coming to the market as well in the summer that I'm allowed to say now for Ferrero. We've got, I think there's 3 different ones. They're all based on Rocha and the Raffaellos. So you've got, I think it's like milk chocolate, a dark chocolate one, and a white chocolate coconut one. They're very good. I tried them about 6 months ago. What is the topic, Seb? We're just talking about random things. We're just on the topic of chocolate at the moment. And considering I work for a chocolate company, I suppose I'm a little bit in the know. You're from far away, but Lindt exists here. Yeah, I think they are definitely a worldwide market, no? But I definitely think, like you said, that they are a chocolate lover's chocolate. If you've got a sweet tooth, I think that Lindt is the way. It's expensive and a little bit more of a premium price, but it's definitely worth it. Nutella is something that goes fast in my house, but I don't touch that. Again, though, it's hazelnut based, right? So if you don't like hazelnut or you don't like nuts in general, then you're not going to enjoy it. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that Ferrero own Nutella, Ferrero own Kinder. Like I say, Ferrero own Tic Tac. Lots of different brands that come under the Ferrero umbrella. Another bit of trivia is that we're starting to get into the biscuit world now. See, I think there are like Nutella biscuits and stuff that already exist on the market, but I mean actual biscuit production companies. So it's again more of a UK market thing. But what's happened is, I guess, Mr. Ferrero, because obviously it's a family-run company, it's not on the stock exchange. Sort of the Mr. Ferrero, I suppose, over time, his kids have had kids and have had kids. Of course, for every more children that exist, the bigger the split has to be in ownership for the company, right? So one of the sons or grandsons of Mr. Ferrero himself, I think, has bought out a bunch of biscuit companies. You're more fine with hazelnut, at least Nutella is creamy. Yeah, that's true. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the best, if not the best, chocolate spreads. Non-free hit, brought in Jesus, 1 min before deadline for a -4. Why? Give me any chocolate or biscuit. Well, the thing is that I could throw in. I mean, it's a bit cheeky, I suppose, but like I get obviously hampers from work, right? Easter hampers, Christmas hampers, all sorts of things filled with chocolate goodies. Maybe if someone, I suppose the difficulty is if someone wins the mini league who's from far away, I don't even know how I would package that and give them a little treat. You dislike nut chunks in your chocolate. Interesting. I'll tell you one bar of chocolate that I do really like, and that is a crunchy. Mate, that in terms of tier list, I'm sorry, but like Whisper's up there, Whisper Gold, crunchy is a winner. Ferrero and Lindt are here, but very expensive because they're imported, special occasions only. Yeah, I thought so because I think we're pretty much in almost every country. We've got production plants everywhere. Like we're literally a worldwide company. And I think Lindt would be Swiss-based? Swiss company? Started in Switzerland, maybe? I'm not sure. You don't like to eat chocolate, maybe once a week, eat like chocolate bar, but you prefer fruits. You love mango. Mango's definitely up there for fruits. I can vouch for that. I like grapes. Bananas are good. I'm not really a fan of like things like apples, to be honest. Just that kind of the basic bitch fruits. Do you know what I mean? I definitely like my exotic fruits like you. Mango, kiwi. I like peaches. The only thing with fruit, though, is that I prefer it in cake. It needs to be between a good few layers of sponge, mate, and then that's the winner. Lindt is like 3 tiers above everything else, to be honest. I will agree with that. I will agree. I think it's just the raw chocolate that they get, mate. Honestly, like our chocolate tanks on site where we produce Thornton's chocolate. I mean, it all comes from various places. Like obviously, we've got places in Europe that actually produce the chocolate, and then they come and import it into our chocolate storage tanks. And then when, like, let's say, I don't know, the Thornton's collection boxes, any chocolate that's enrobed, which enrobed just means that, let's say it's a wafer and it's covered in chocolate, it just means that there's this huge enrobing machine that just coats and coats and coats all of the wafers. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's as good as what Lindt would do. I don't know why. It's definitely, like you say, the chocolates love a chocolate. Once a week, you think you eat chocolate once a month. Damn. I mean, me and my missus definitely indulge. I'm not going to lie. I think we eat definitely sweet things very, very often. After dinner, it's 100%. There's always something sweet that's flying around my house. Always. Coming from a tropical country, you actually don't like mangoes. Interesting. See, I can imagine them being so good as well, fresh. I mean, I don't know what our import looks like, but in terms of the UK, I don't know where we get our mangoes from. But just, mate, they're 100%. They're probably god tier for me in terms of fruits. Absolutely love mango. You love apple juice. You just don't like any energy drinks or even Coca-Cola. See, I don't mind Coke. It's probably my go-to fizzy drink, to be honest. I do like apple juice as well. I prefer apple juice to eating apples. I don't drink energy drinks either, mate. Very bad for the health. Yeah, speaking of Coca-Cola, I do have a bottle next to me. The nicer the mango, the more I dislike it. Wow. What a philosophy. What a philosophy. Which is not even a philosophy, right? It's just... And you're still awake as well, by the way, Tanoki. What time is it there, my friend? Like, you must be getting into, like, 2 a.m. territory, right? 1 a.m. maybe? You hate energy drinks too, never have drunk Red Bull or Monster. The only time I'll drink Red Bull is, like, vodka Red Bull, right? And even then, it was such a student drink. So when I was at university, vodka Red Bull was just the cheap thing. £1.50 for a vodka Red Bull. You could just absolutely smash them back like no tomorrow. It's just how they feel, how it made you feel the next morning. My tongue and like, oh my God, the headache was horrendous if I never drank water before going to sleep. A local fruit I do like is, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Durian? Durian? Durian fruit. Now that looks good. That looks tasty, mate. An acquired taste, according to Wikipedia. Some people regard the durian. I mean, I might be butchering this. Let me see if I can do a sound. Durian. Durian. The durian. An acquired taste. Some people regard the durian as having a pleasantly sweet fragrance, whereas others find the aroma overpowering and unpleasant. Damn. Looks good though, my friend. 2 a.m. I thought so. So you're a 16-year-old boy who is 183 centimeters and likes to play and watch football every day and loves every sport. Well, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't indulge in things that are necessarily classed as bad for you, right? Or sugary. There's no real issue in that. I think you can still be a very healthy, very fit individual, even if you do indulge in chocolate or sweets and other things. Absolutely nothing stopping you there, Seb. But if you don't like it, that's the difference, right? Like, I 100% have a sweet tooth. 100% have a sweet tooth. Thing with durian is people barely even try them before deciding they don't like it, but there are actually many different variants. Do you think, is that because of the aromatic side of them then? Do you think the smell puts them off or something? Because that's what Wikipedia kind of, summarizing it. First time I heard. First time you heard of that fruit, Abdullah, or funny enough, you get better quality fruit than us. All our top grade stuff is exported for higher profit. That kind of makes sense, I guess. That kind of does make sense. But then I still feel like by the time it gets to us, there must be preservatives and all sorts of things done to the food to make sure that it stays relatively fresh. I mean, I don't know how it gets here, right? But if it gets here by plane, boat, like whatever the method of transport, there's still a significant amount of delay before it actually gets to the supermarket. Then the supermarket has to then sell it to us as the end customer, right? So I think from a UK perspective, I don't know if this is similar in other countries because I don't know where, if you have it, but Costco. So I'm a Costco member because I get the membership through Ferrero as an employee. I'm able to purchase it without being self-employed or like a tradesperson. Their meat quality at Costco is by far, hands down, the best meat quality you can buy in the UK, in my opinion. I mean, I'm based in the Midlands, so I don't know if that enhances, like, because we've got such a good supply chain network around us in the Midlands in the UK, it might help. But honestly, if I buy a piece of chicken from Tesco, Asda, any of the big sort of, supermarkets, even Lidl, Aldi, and the other European supermarkets, hands down, it doesn't touch what Costco provide. Like the price is near on the same, if not a little bit better at Costco as well, albeit you have to buy in bulk. You can't just buy everything fresh. You do need to freeze a lot of it. But even then, even when I defrost chicken breasts that I've bought, say, a week ago from Costco, mate, they taste amazing. But yeah, it does. I don't know. I work in supply chain, I guess, so it interests me all this type of stuff. You like to eat salty food and also sweet, but you prefer salty. Yeah, I'm definitely a savoury guy too, but I'm definitely a sweet tooth more. I'd say so. Like put it this way, if you like another sort of like small takeout, I suppose in the UK. I don't know if this is based other places. Is Greg's Bakery? I can 100% eat a Greg's sausage roll, and then I can eat a Greg's donut, and I will enjoy both of them equally. There are variants that are more bitter and those that are more sweet. So durian eaters often like the bitter ones and usually go those for the higher price, and those go for the higher prices. Fair enough, but not everyone would end up liking them. So I suppose is that why it's a bit of a split decision then? Because there's like I don't know that it did say on Wikipedia it's an acquired taste. So I guess that kind of that kind of backs up what you're saying, I suppose. But I love how you said durian eaters. Like there's a big split in the community of like those that do eat durian and those that don't. That's so interesting for me. Lineups are out. Lineups are out. Abdullah's on it. Saka, I've just typed in rather than Twitter. Fucking hell, man. My head is all over the show. Zinchenko and Vieira start for Arsenal. Yeah, so that's because of Xhaka, right? Can't see the lineup on the on Arsenal's Twitter yet. Most people just try the expensive ones, not realizing that there are probably milder and less offensive variants. Yeah, it's just like anything in life, though, isn't it? Really, just a bit of education. I suppose if like the parents of people showed them that there are differences, maybe they'd just learn to love the durian. Who knows, mate? I'd love to go to Singapore. I mean, I'd love to travel Asia in general. To be honest, I don't know. I'm fascinated by culture in general. Like I think, as most of you know, that are probably stuck here, four of you at the moment, by the looks of it, you know that my wife's Polish. I'd love the multicultural aspect of her family and the food and everything else. You're from Finland, Seb, another country that I'd like to go to, like Finland, Sweden, Norway, all of those places. I'd love to visit them as well. Singapore is a very expensive country. It certainly is. It certainly is. But yeah, what absolute I don't it just looks like such a beautiful place. Finland is the world's happiest country. Is that a fact? Team news. There we go, boys. There we go, boys. Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Zinchenko, Ben White. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that, to be honest. Noish. Noish, noish, noish. So what do we think of this lineup then, guys? Do we think that let's talk first of all. Let's talk Southampton. Do we think they're going to score with that back line? No Saliba, and I do think Holding is nowhere near up to scratch. Gabriel and Saliba are definitely the duo that stop them conceding. Vieira instead of Xhaka. Do we see a conceded goal? No, Gabriel. There is Gabriel just underneath Holding. Tanoki, probably the closest analogy is wine. Anything past like a couple $100 is niche. Fair enough. You've been to Finland, but was over there on a stopover. Interesting. Just like a in between a flight or something like that. JWP could score any day. Yeah, I can see a set piece going in. That's true. But what about open play? Do we think that Arsenal are going to concede here? I mean, Southampton don't make a lot of chances, right? But you think 3-1 to Arsenal. You think 3-0. Yeah, I'm going to go with a confident Arsenal win as well. I would predict definitely over at least 3-0. I think it could even be more than that. Jesus and Martinelli sub 74 minutes. Now we're getting specific. How about Ben White, though? I mean, of recent, he's been on form, guys. Like, don't underestimate the right back. He's been scoring and assisting recently for fun. I really hope they don't get substituted at 57 minutes. The only reason I'd accept that is if Martinelli scored 2 goals there. If Martinelli scores 2 goals and Jesus has assisted both of them, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, man. I mean, to be honest, all things considered, on the variance of my season, I probably couldn't complain about that because I've avoided some really silly little swings like that. I think there was a Ben White substitution, was there once at 59 minutes? A couple of weeks after the World Cup, something like that. That definitely helped me out in terms of gaining rank. I've had a few of those situations. I think John Stones recently got subbed by Pep. Unfortunate for Seb. Both in the goal that he scored and the week before that as well. Really frustrating. Abdullah, you predict that Arsenal will lose the clean sheet at the 59th minute. I mean, this is very FPL related, guys. Very, very FPL specific. Best fact about Salah is he does not get subbed even if he gets a brace. That is very, very true. That is something that I didn't consider. But it's a positive nonetheless. But there we go, guys. I mean, I don't think... Should we look at the Southampton team anyway? I honestly don't feel like there's going to be much in it, but I think it's just going to be pretty much all Arsenal. But Ward-Prowse is there. I mean, I like Lavia. I think he's an up-and-coming player. I really do like him. I don't think Southampton are going to keep hold of him. I think City have a buyback clause on him anyway. Walcott comes back to haunt them. Who knows? Stones could have gotten 10 or even 12 more points. Absolutely, mate. Crazy. Oh no, you've got to be happy with it. Absolutely, don't take anything away from the fact that he's scored you the points and he's done what he needed to do for you, right? When you brought him in, but it's just so frustrating when you get defenders subbed pre 60 minutes, especially when they're looking like a guaranteed clean sheet. It's fine when it's 61 minutes and they've got a clean sheet. Like, no one cares about that shit. But it's just it's not running up until the 60th minute is probably the biggest bugbear. You're still in your country's cup. Hopefully you make it past this tosser. Fingers crossed for you, mate. Fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed. Look at this tweet underneath by FPL Harry. Look. Goal Bednarak, assist Ward-Prowse. 90+3, Twitter going into meltdown. I mean, was it you that said, Tanoki, it could be a Southampton 1-0? I mean, if they nicked it 1-0, like I said, I think I'd definitely back City to win the treble then, honestly. I think the momentum would be everything for them then. You'll never forget Pep bringing on Cancelo 89 minutes to deny my Andrea 60. Oh, mate, you was one of those sufferers It's just so shit. Like these little situations, like there's so many little swings right in FPL seasons that we forget about. So frustrating. I mean, I sold Cancelo on the World Cup, so I wasn't victim to that, but I do remember that. FPL Link Cup has started as well. 128 teams in the FPL Link Cup. Interesting. Is it like, can I see this? Can I see this? I don't even know, mate. I don't pay attention to cups whatsoever. Like live FPL is down anyway. I don't even know how I see that. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it because the website's down. But I imagine on cups here next to leagues, this is where it is. But I didn't even know it was a thing. I guess is it because the amount of teams that are in my mini league, it had to start later. I hope we get drawn in FPL Link. Let's see, my friend. You've already qualified for round of 64 based on your good score in game week 31. This is the thing. I honestly don't pay attention to cups. Like next season, if I get monetized next season, then I would probably give back and do two prizes. Right, I'd do one for the main mini league, and then one for the cup winner, something like that, to mix it up. But if I don't, I think it's too much of a stretch. I would probably just still, even if I don't get monetized, I'll always give a prize to the mini league winner. I think that's fair, or kind of a give back to the community for being here and supporting me. You don't either, but it's a secondary concern. You hope to knock that out yourself. I mean, a lot of people, though, probably in the mini league have looked at this team, seen this team, made slight differences to it. So who knows? Let's see what happens. But the FPL website, definitely in the past few seasons, I don't know if anybody's experienced this, but I feel like it takes way longer than it used to update. Right? Like it takes so long now. But I just want to see the cup situation. Tanoki, you hope you knock Dan out too. Well, you can't all knock me out. I mean, both in game and outside a game. You'd have to fly to the UK for that, or I'd have to come to Singapore. I might be in top of the. I might not be top in my mini league, but I personally knocked out the top guy from the cup. I actually ended with 4.6 million in the bank. This is how ridiculous this draft was in terms of affordability. 1.4 less than the starting price or the starting budget of 100 million. Madness. So many good budget options. Linus K, worth keeping Arsenal triple up going forward, and if so, would you keep? You had no free. Who would you keep? You had no free hit this week. Um, it's it's really tough because for me, I think Saka makes way personally for Salah because I haven't got him permanently. Right, Salah's only in this draft because it's my free hit draft. But the only route for me to get to Salah in 34 is via Saka, I think. So I'm personally going to be selling Saka. If you had Martinelli, then I would say you probably do keep hold of him. Jesus, though, I'm not sure. I think from 36 to 38, they're okay because 36 to 38, again, website's down on it, so we can't see. And now I've screwed myself up. Because I've done it on my main page. Ah, what a killer! Right, let's go back to let's just put up my Twitter page up then. There's the team. There is the team. you guess I would have also automatically qualified for round of six. I don't even know where you're looking at this information, if I'm honest, Abdullah. Like the website's down. I don't even know where you're getting it from. You've got 0.0 in the bank. You had Kane after all. Interesting. As you were 3 points ahead of me in game week 31. Yeah, that makes sense then. Do I have another league? No, it's not a league. It's not another league, Seb. We're talking about the cup. So apparently Abdullah said that this week is the start of the FPL Link Mini League Cup. I think it's probably got to do with how many teams are in the mini league. So it will go through until game week 38. You didn't know that mini leagues had cups. For us bottom feeders, that's of great interest. Dan, what is your rank in the second chance league? I don't know, mate, because now I've screwed myself out of being able to check because I pressed on the wrong page. I mean, I think at one point I was like top 3,000, something like that, top 2,000 in the second chance league. But I'm definitely not as high as that now. Meta Arsenal triple up is obviously El Neni, Willock, and Gunnosaurus. But yeah, I think Linus, the definite one person that I would pick based on form at the moment is Martinelli. I just think it is going to be team dependent on where you need to spread the value around because, like I said, for me, Saka just has to become Salah. I can't ignore him. And then what I might do is I might end up having someone like Watkins become Jesus later on in the season when Villa's fixtures get tricky. That could be a situation for me, but we'll see. They did indeed sell Willock, yes. So there was 128 teams in the FPL Link Cup. So the Cup was to be started in game week 32. Those who had a good score in 31 qualified for the round of 64 automatically. Okay, this makes sense. But I didn't even know it was a thing, if I'm honest. Otherwise, I probably would have highlighted it in my team selection video and just said good luck to those that were interested in the Cup. But out of curiosity, out of the guys that are viewing now, like, do you pay attention to it? Do you actually make transfers based on the cup, or do you just it's a secondary thing for you? And if you go through, you go through. Like you're not bothered because -4s actually affect the cup. So it's different to so I guess the overall rank gains, right? Like it will show you as your total points. But if I'm not wrong, the cup is the net points. It's not 1 to 8. That's why there's people who qualify straight. Interesting. You don't make transfers based on cup. I don't think anybody that watches the channel does, but I'm just curious. I'm just literally just curious to see if anybody does. On a side note, guys, I noticed this earlier on my channel. 99 videos. Nearly 100 videos have been created on this channel in less than a year. I don't know if that's inclusive of live streams as well, but we're almost there. We're nearly into triple figures. Long may it continue, guys. Long may it continue. You just play to win in your mini leagues, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of cash mini leagues that I'm sort of involved in, I suppose, that I focus on. But for me, I definitely play overall rank as a focus. You're also in your country cup. Nice. I think there was only one cup that I'm in now or part of. But again, I don't really pay attention to it. I'm really going to be honest. Like, just everything that I look at on live FPL is always overall rank, overall rank, overall rank, and then occasionally I'll check the mini league for the money. Imagine a mini league has 7 people. It starts on the round that usually has 8 people. But one person goes through auto and 6 people fight. 1 + 3 = 4 for the next round. Okay, that makes sense. It's purely secondary, but a good feeling when you've beaten somebody. Yeah, interesting. Can you advertise your FPL channel? Feel free, my friend. Feel free. You've been a long supporter of this channel, so I will happily support yours. And yeah, if you continue to make content, mate, then absolutely fire away. Abdullah, yeah, sorry, actually, there were more than 128 teams in this round, so those who had a good score qualified. Yeah, that makes more sense. As to Tanoki's point, quick math. Quick math. But yeah, Seb, have you got like a separate channel then for FPL? Because you've called yourself FPL Seb on here. Honestly, I just check for funny names. Yeah, plenty of them in FPL. Plenty of them. Best Newcastle triple up for their double, or is two enough? I still like double Newcastle defence, and then maybe one of Isak or Wilson. Check out Crazy Subu. Go for it, guys. Check out the channel. I'm even going to copy that. I'll sub to you, mate. Done, mate. Subscribed. Keep making the content, sir. What it's all about. Still live, George? Yes, still live, mate. I said till 7 o'clock, but I've gone way longer than that, to be honest. I was actually waiting for the website to update a little bit so I can check out the Mini League Cup. That was the main thing that's got me to stick around, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to update in time. So you try to make more content, but you have a lot of exams. Well, focus on the school first, mate. YouTube's got to be secondary. At the end of the day, the way I see it is, yes, you can turn this into a career. You've got to be consistent, though, and you just take your time. It takes a long time to build up a community. It takes a long time to build up any particular type of following. I just think at the end of the day, especially when you're niche like this, right? FPL isn't like a massive topic like a general, I don't know, productivity channel or general football channel, for example. This is fantasy football as well. So take some time to build it up. Take some time to build it up, but I would definitely recommend stick to your schoolwork first. And then, like me, right, I do this as a hobby. I do this after work. I do it as part of, kind of my love for football and FPL combined. If I make money from it one day, perfect. If I don't, it is what it is. Wildcard active, you need a list of must-haves. I think we can talk about that later on, because I am going to close it off soon. So I can hear my daughter is definitely woken up now, and I need to do some dinner. Site is taking ages to update. Indeed, I feel like this is... there we go. Okay. But it's still not right. Because look, my pick team is the game week. Yeah, points is still showing as last week's. It was probably the chocolate chat. Yeah, of course. Flexing my Ferrero muscles. Stay live until tomorrow at 7. Thanks for the stream. I've got to edit my face with a gaping mouth and an over-the-top facial expression on the thumbnail too. Yeah, I mean, I've avoided that, and I just use football players, right? It's kind of a little bit cheeky, I suppose. I should use my face a bit more regularly like other people do, but it is what it is. My face is on camera. There's people that don't have the camera even on, right? You know what I look like. Here is thy mug. Might take your advice. Keep Martinelli, do Saka to Rashford next week. I just think that, I don't know, it depends on if you've already got Salah. I mean, Saka to Rashford next week, I'm not sure. I mean, I know they're facing City, but this is a fixture where things can happen. So I don't feel like Saka out on this week is a particularly priority move. Let's see what happens, mate. It's a fast turnaround in terms of the game weeks, right? We've got Friday and then on to Tuesday straight away. So I'll be doing a Tuesday stream next week. it's a big it's a really, really fast turnaround. We might get some news, we might get some injuries, we might get something that changes your plans. So I think let's just focus on 33 when 32 comes to a bit of a closure. But same with the most transfers in and out. Yeah, do a handstand. Can't quite do that. Go to the mini league anyway. I mean, where's the view cup matches? Okay, I see. Progressed due to their game week 31 score. I see round of 128. I see. So I don't have anybody. Okay. This makes sense. The cup will start in game week 32. Look at this. I didn't even know this was a thing. When is the next deadline? Tuesday, Abdullah. So just like I say, so it's a fast turnaround. So we've got Tuesday at 6 p.m. This is a game at 7:30 on Tuesday evening, followed by Saturday the 29th. So we've got a very quick turnaround between 32 and 34. So literally next Saturday is game week 34, and we're only just going into game week 32. So there's a huge amount of points up for grabs over these next few weeks. Who overtook me in the mini league? I don't know. Got a red arrow though. Look. I guess these guys, Patrick, James P. Patrick, I don't recognise his name, so maybe he's just joined the mini league, which is what pushed me down. Because any new joiners effectively can move me down the ranks. Arman's still there behind me, very, very close. But anyway, even if I do win my own mini league by some ridiculous situation, I'll just give a prize to the second place and call you the winner anyway. You progressed as well, nice. You don't have anyone, yeah. I think a lot of people progress from 31. You don't fancy Arsenal's chances next week. Haaland hat-trick incoming. I mean, I agree. I think Man City win the game, but that doesn't mean Saka doesn't return. That's what I mean. Just Saka from a. Okay, let's rephrase from a in a difficult fixture sense. I don't mind owning multiple attackers of those two teams. Where I don't like difficult fixtures is where you've got an attacker and a defender that wipes out the clean sheet. I think Saka can produce something. That's why I'm saying maybe it's not a priority transfer out for you. And Rashford faces Tottenham. It's not the perfect fixture, not a bad fixture. So I feel like you might be able to make a few different moves. But the website's just shocking at the moment. It's still showing me 65 points. Anyway, I'm gonna give up on this and I'm gonna go and make some food because I've been on for almost 2 hours, right? So long ass stream, but thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Yeah, I'll be doing a stream next Tuesday. I think I might be able to get a team selection in on Sunday. So I might do it ahead of what fixtures have we got on Sunday? We've got Bournemouth, West Ham, Newcastle, Spurs. So maybe what I'll do is I'll record prior to those games. I'll see how I feel and how much time I've got. If I've got enough time, I'll do it. Put it out there for your viewing pleasure. But after that, then it's just going to be a live stream on Tuesday. Another team selection probably then between 33 and 34. So I would probably do a team selection on Thursday night. Maybe even late as Friday. But a couple of videos I'll try and do over the next few weeks, guys. Obviously, good luck to everybody in 32. Good luck with your free hit chips. Good luck to the non-free hit users as well, by the way. I hope that red arrows are non-existent to you and it's greens all around. So good luck to everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Of course, as mentioned, I will see you in a stream on Tuesday, guys, at 5 p.m. So looking forward to seeing you there, guys. See you later. Take care. Have a wonderful